my videos, I share places we've been, places we've stayed, and some of the sagas that we've faced. In this video, we spent time in Kakadu. Please enjoy.
Cuisine, the resort, pushing cold air to try to knock down the temperature and the humidity. Big pool, which we spent some time in. Petrol wasn't cheap, fuel at least wasn't cheap.
We did a 4-course taste of Kakadu dinner eating bush tucker. I liked the first course best, crab, prawns, octopus, with native white apple, lemon myrtle. Second course was smoked duck, that was Jim's favourite.
I was impressed.
And the barramundi, not as good as what we had later. The granita.
The green ants on top of the ice cream and the brulee were interesting.
Couldn't manage it at all, but we saw it the next day still on the tree, and saw how they nest, and we learnt not to park underneath any trees with green ants on them.
Is barra number 2 part of the Taste of Kakadu experience, but
cooked by the local Aboriginal lads in their somewhat now traditional way.
Stuffed with a lemon myrtle-y kind of flavoured bush.
And paper bark used to move it round. Notice the boys are in thongs or bare feet round the fire.
But Jim's appreciating the barramundi a lot better than the previous night's offering.
We also tasted their local damper, made only with flour and water, no other additive, and served with lots of homemade rosella jam. Other parts of the festival that we were at, we got to watch, and Kay got to do some weaving with pandanus fronds, and this is some of them being dyed. This young Aboriginal woman showed Kay how to make a bracelet weaving the dyed pandanus fronds. So that's Kay having a go at making. Took me much longer than it did the young woman. Grandma's sitting behind, she was weaving as well, and this is Kay's finished product. Not quite as clever as the young experienced Aboriginal woman. Jim did some clapstick painting, and these are the paints they used in the middle.
The young guy who was mentoring the experience was asked by somebody, did you get the ochre locally, how do you produce it? And he said, oh hell no, too much of a nuisance, we buy paint at the local store.
We flew over Kakadu in a fixed wing flight.
Kakadu, yeah, what they call the stone country part of Kakadu. Eroded sandstone walls, like 20k long, 30 to 300 metres high, intersected by creeks running down. It works as the kind of roof and guttering for the rest of Kakadu, particularly the wetlands, so the rain falls on it.
This is the uranium mine that we flew over, now out of service. And in Corinda we were visited by brumbies one night, then off to a yellow water Billabong and South Alligator River tour.
Cruise.
And first up in the morning, this is what we found.
You're warned to keep your hands inside the boat. The local the local line about that being that the crocs can jump high enough to get their own life jackets out of the boat.
Out of the roof of the boat. It's fascinating how they can just disappear or hide.
Cruising along like this, but capable of 20 to 25 kilometres an hour in a spurt underwater.
They can apparently hold their breath underwater with no need to breathe for 8 to 11 hours, which is sometimes how they kill their prey, by holding them underwater.
When you see this at a slightly more extended view, you realise how next to invisible they are, even on the surface. From 20 metres away, if they're still, they look just like another piece of trash in the floating lily leaves.
Look at the size of this guy. He was a monster. And I say he because the big ones apparently are the males.
Looks kind of slender there, but when you realise how big the body is that you can't see, the portion that's underwater, it's a bit like an iceberg. Only 1/10 of it's visible, and down he goes. Really extended grassland through all the wetlands with lily flowers extending to the horizon.
And hiding amongst them is yet another crocodile. And look at this, he started off looking just like a bit of a log in the water.
A lot of bird life particularly on the wetlands. Sea eagles, many sea eagles. The totemic bird for the Indigenous people. Here they are, nice and tight. This would have been like the 5th or 6th that we saw, and they'd be each members of a pair. And the kite. This one carries fire.
Ducks, wild ducks, many, many of them.
And some beautiful lotus blossom mixed in with the blue and white water lilies. It's hard to believe how extensive the wetland floodplains are. Kakadu's 200 by 100 kilometres.
This is the male
Jacana.
that looks after the babies, and here are 3 of them.
He was carrying some under his wings. That's how he protects them.
This is just a view cruising down the South Alligator River.
The barra that we ate on the fire the other day came from the South Alligator River. Might have been caught near here. Early morning, still enough for reflections. The other big interest item in Kakadu was Aboriginal art. Some of it dated as old as 30,000 years, and some of it you'll see soon has to be quite recent, demonstrating the knowledge of white people entering the country. Mostly X-ray, what they call X-ray vision style.
One of our favourites is the Lightning Man, and this is the Lightning Man. lightning man's over to the right of this vision.
Also a really significant totemic character in this part of Australia.
Here he is. Big history in the lightning man. We had to travel on some dirt roads to get to some of these art sites, and we had some significant climbs up into rock shelters.
Those classic X-ray style.
We particularly liked a lot of the fish that you see here.
So you can see the barra in sort of exploded view.
And a lot of the long-necked turtles as well.
There's a gallery up here at Ubirr that's got to be, the site's got to be, I don't know, 40, 50 metres long with art across generations, some of it painted on top of earlier material, some of it reflecting some oddities.
Here's another long-necked turtle.
The odd thing is the artwork depicting thylacines in the area, dated to...
And here he is, here's the thylacine.
Dated to 4,000 or 5,000 years ago.
Modern art now. We travelled to another site where we had to cross several creek crossings. These potentially had crocodiles in them, so neither of us were getting out to check the depth. We were heading towards Car Hill Crossing, the famous crossing into Arnhem Land. Famous because of the number of crocs, the number of cars or vehicles that get stuck in the water and therefore have to be rescued, or the people need to be rescued. And there's a croc sitting . Hey Jim, you got some stats for us?
Got a mixture. Let's start with rain. The Weather Bureau reported rain at Jabiru, our first rain since leaving home. 3.4 mils in 24 hours. Not enough to wet the fabric on the chairs we left outside. Temperatures, a week of maximums in Kakadu, 35 degrees C or better. Attractions, many roads, pools, creeks, waterfalls in Kakadu were closed. The lengthy wet seasons meant that waterholes haven't yet been cleared of crocs. Fuel, highest cost we've paid for fuel to date, $2.30 in Jabiru. Crocs, first saltwater or estuarine crocs that we've sighted were at Yellow Water, and the nearest approach to them was about 3 metres from the boat we were in. Mozzies continue to be infinitely numerous. The most effective attractant we've discovered so far has been K's exposed skin. And the location for that data collection was Coinda. We discovered we had a leak in our insect netting.
Thanks Jim. Thanks for watching our video. Leaving Kakadu, our next video will be in Darwin. Bye.
Been through it all, now it's time to go. The road is calling, but I'll miss you so. The laughter we shared, the moment and sweet.